Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be showing you Dylan Miller's 4.721 second solve in the PSL Michigan Grand Final against Luke. So for this solve I reconstructed it myself again, going frame by frame, reversing every single move to get his original start point, the scramble, but I do not know the actual moves used to get to the scramble. So he did a lot of moves in the solve, so I'm not going to put them on screen like I did last time because it just cluttered everything, hard to read. I'll put them in the description for you to follow along. And so what he did was he started the solve with orange facing him, and ended the solve with red. So to reverse the scramble, we start with red facing us. Then halfway through, this will all be in the description, we rotate, so blue is facing us, and then rotate once more, so orange is facing us to do the scramble. And so yeah, I'm going to do it. And the top of your cube should look like this. And that is the scramble. Okay, so for this solve, Dylan Miller does the yellow cross. And so what he does is he sees that this yellow middle is an R prime move away from being opposite its correct centerpiece. He sees that this blue middle yellow piece is also opposite its correctly orientated center. He sees that this middle piece is correctly orientated. So in order to preserve that, he realizes that when he does the R prime to make the middle piece opposite its color, ready for the D2 at the end, it protects this. And he also sees that this orange middle piece is a D prime move away from being at its opposite center, which is the ultimate end goal in order to just do a final D2 to solve the cross. And a little more advanced, he sees this block, this pair, and this pair. And so during his cross solution, he realizes that this pair will end up at the back here, and this pair will end up in these two slots here. So let's execute it. He first does the R prime, protecting this middle piece. D prime, making this centerpiece opposite its middle piece. He then does F, bringing this down. Then, as we can see, this block has moved there, and this block has moved here. And so, instead of just doing an R2, getting ready for the D2, and then another R prime, solving the cross, he realizes if he does that, it will break up this pair. So what he does instead is an R, then a U prime, moving this out of danger, and then does the next R move, making every center and middle piece be oppositely orientated. So a simple D2 will correctly orientate them. And as we know, this yellow middle piece has been correctly preserved for just an R prime move away from being solved. Then, as we know, this block is still preserved, and this block is still preserved. And so his first pair is this red-green pair. And to correctly solve this, he does an L prime, U, L, which splits up the corner, ready for a 3-move insert with a rotate to the left, so blue is facing him, an L, correctly pairing it up, a U, and then an L prime for the 3-move insert. And I'm sure as he was doing that, he was tracking this pair, which is now correctly set up for a 3-move insert with just a U prime to set it up, and then an R, U, R prime. His next focus is this block here, the green orange, and he does a U2, L prime, U prime, L to set it up. However, before doing that, I think we ought to look at his next pair as a little more advanced technique. We see that here is where the middle piece is, and here is where the corner piece is. And so we know as we insert this piece, this corner piece will be removed from its position, as this is where the green orange pair wants to go. So it will go into the top layer, which is ideal for a pair setup. During the solution, this middle piece will actually end up here. So let's execute it again with the U2, L prime, U prime, L. And as we can see, this edge piece has ended up from here to here. And this corner piece is still there. As we do a rotation, we do an L, U2, L prime, and that corner has been displaced from its position onto the top layer, which is ideal. And for this solution, we simply do U2, R, U prime, R prime, and this actually cancels from here to an R2, and then sledgehammer, so F, R, F prime, inserting the pair instantaneously, saving a lot of time. And instead of doing OLL and PLL for this solve, Dylan Miller actually does ZBLL. That is because this is an easily identifiable case. And in case you don't know, ZBLL is a more advanced technique that solves OLL and PLL at the exact same time. So you just use one algorithm for the whole of the top layer. Sounds perfect. However, there is about 800 algorithms that you need to memorize in order to, consistently use this. I mean, Timon, obviously one of the best in the world, I think second best in the world or third, uses ZBLL full-time now as he's memorized them. But just for the odd case, this is a very easy ZBLL case to spot, as we have the 2 bars here, and this is a pretty easy OLL case to spot. So I'm sure Dylan just knew this one-off case, and so it goes for a U to orientate the cube like this in order to execute the algorithm, and we use this algorithm. And the cube is solved, and then he does a U prime to finally orientate the last layer, and that is the cube solved. I hope you enjoyed the video showing Dylan Miller's 4.721 second solve in the PSL Grand Finale. That ZBLL case at the end, quite tricky. I personally never gonna memorize ZBLL. I don't care for it, but just for the one-off case, because Dylan usually does OLL, PLL, but I'm sure this was just an easy case to identify. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the more in-depth kind of not only what he sees during the cross, but I'm sure not only just showing you the moves of what he did, but also what he probably saw. Obviously, I'm not in his head. I don't know what he sees, but yeah, just seeing this block, where will it end up after the cross moves have been done? Where will this edge end up after this? Kind of looking ahead, obviously called look ahead. Yeah, stay tuned for more. Thank you.